Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 86 Corgi prevents murder. The next afternoon, Conan and his party accepted the invitation of the actresses and went to their celebration banquet together. On the plane, Conan recalled the Kaido kid he met yesterday. He was just a thief who played magic before, but this time he could use magic. This style is not right. At this time, he suddenly thought of something. Originally, there would be a murder on this plane. After thinking about it, although the actress had some problems with her character, it was not a reason for him not to save her, but he needed to find a suitable excuse. At this time, Conan saw the man named Shinjo Gong, and knew that this was Kaido Kid. He thought about confronting him directly. Thinking of this, Conan untied the seatbelt and went over. Brother Shinjo, you played Hippolyte Charles so well yesterday. Can I ask you a question? As he said that, he pulled him towards the toilet. Oh, I didn't expect that there was a little fan of mine here. Kid was shocked when he saw this, but he didn't show it. Instead, he went to the toilet with Conan. The two came to the toilet, and Conan closed the toilet. Kid, I didn't expect to meet you again. I really underestimated you. You found me so quickly. Are you following me? Kid no longer concealed it and admitted it directly. I'm not going to catch you this time, and you won't steal the ring again. Conan knew that Kid had checked the ring, so he just made it clear. Oh, how do you know I don't want the ring? Kid was shocked, but continued to ask calmly. Because it's a fake ring. You knew it when you kissed her hand just now. Conan looked at Kid and explained. Okay, you know all this, that's right, then what do you, the great detective, want to do with me now? You don't want to show off your wisdom in front of me, do you? Kid said helplessly. Actually, I know that Miss Mockery was poisoned, on both sides of her nose. I want to ask you for help to prevent this tragedy from happening. Huh? What poison there? So that's it, to let her eat it, what a good plan, but I'm curious, how did you know? Kid was shocked when he heard it, and then he reacted instantly. Poisoning on both sides of the other party's nose is to let the other party's fingers touch the poison unknowingly, and then give her something to eat, so that she can kill people unknowingly. And why she touches the poisonous part with her hands can only be when she is on the plane. Because the sound of the plane taking off will make many people feel tinnitus, the best way is to pinch the nose and blow hard, so that the poison will get into her hands without anyone noticing. And from the beginning of makeup to everything afterwards, you need to be familiar with her eating habits. The only one who wants to meet these 2 points is the makeup artist who has been with her. It must be said that Kid has a high IQ. As long as he is given the result, he can quickly deduce all this. While Kid was thinking, Conan did not answer his doubts. Don't worry about how I know. Now you need to play your role. After all, it is a life. As for the murderer, we can call her and Miss Mockery together and mediate between them. I have already investigated their conflicts. Since you have already planned it, I won't say much. Leave everything to me. Kid smiled and agreed directly. After the two chatted, they left here directly. After that, Kid went directly to the makeup artist Sakai Natsuki and lied that he smelled the almond smell on Mockery's face. He guessed that it was a cyanide poison. In addition, the other party's uncomfortable expression must be the result of the poison penetrating into the skin. Finally, he repeated the previous reasoning, which frightened Sakai Natsuki so much that she had to admit her criminal method. Now, before she is poisoned, you should confess your crime to everyone. At least your attempted murder will not be a big crime. Moreover, I also know why you want to kill her. I believe that after this time, even if you want to stay, she will not dare to leave a person who can kill her at any time. Kid looked at Mockery who was heading to the bathroom, and analyzed the current situation to Sakai Natsuki again. I know. Sakai Natsuki was silent for a long time, and finally made a decision. Everyone. I want to confess my crime to everyone. Sakai Natsuki's voice came, and everyone looked over. Crime? Miss Sakai, what did you do? Marikogoro said with a puzzled look. Actually, I wanted to kill Miss Mockery on this plane, and I was about to succeed. But Mr. Shinjo found out, so I can only confess my crime. After saying that, she collapsed on the ground. After that, she told everyone about her crime method, which made everyone shocked. It was so cleverly designed. After that, she talked about why she wanted to kill him. It was all because she wanted to quit her job and go abroad to realize her dream of becoming a top makeup artist, but she was always blocked by Makishiri. Makishiri was shocked when she heard this, and hurried to the bathroom to wash off all the makeup on her face. We will hand you over to the police after we get off the plane. Fortunately, Mr. Shinjo stopped you and no tragedy happened. You just attempted murder and won't be punished much. Marikogoro walked up to her, patted her on the shoulder and said, So, you hate me to this extent. Makishiri walked out of the bathroom and sighed at Sakai Natsuki. Don't worry, I will let you pursue your dream after I go back this time. After this incident, Makishiri didn't dare to use her anymore, so she let her do her own thing. No, go check on the captain and tell them not to eat. At this time, Conan suddenly thought of something and hurriedly asked the stewardess to go to the captain's room. Before, Makishiri went to the bathroom and went to the captain's room again, and the captain and the co-pilot kissed her hand by chance, and the stewardess just brought the food in. Everyone was shocked when they heard it, and hurriedly ran to the captain's room together. Damn it, I was so busy trying to stop her from killing people that I forgot about this. Fortunately, I learned it in Hawaii. Conan was furious and could only hope that they hadn't eaten yet this time. Unfortunately, when everyone went in, they found that the captain and the co-pilot were already unconscious. What happened afterwards was just like the original plot. A doctor was called to treat the two urgently, while Conan and Kid went to fly the plane. It's coming, Conan. At this time, Shichen, who had disappeared for a day, appeared in the cockpit and said behind Conan. Conan was delighted to see this and hurriedly said to Shichen, "Boss, what's coming?" After Shichen's live broadcast before, Conan also knew it from other people in the chat group. He didn't expect that the group owner would come to his world to stroll. It was not surprising to see Shichen at this time, but he was quite confused about what he said. "Hey? Aren't you the uncle who sold me the secret book?" At this time, Kid also turned around and saw Shichen. He recognized that this was the uncle who sold him the secret book before, and he didn't expect that he knew Conan. Kid was full of thoughts for a while, thinking that Conan was also taught by him. Conan was not surprised by this. Since the group leader was here and Kid knew magic, it must be the group leader's bad taste. "You guys handle it well. If it doesn't work, you can call some people. I won't intervene." After saying that, Shichen went straight back to his seat. It turned out that he had been sitting in the cabin with Conan and the others, but he didn't want others to find him, so no one could find him. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 87 Conan and hashtag 039, S passive power is revealed. When Conan and Kid were flying the plane, several figures appeared outside the plane. Is this the new world? It seems to be no different. It's just a low-level world that hasn't even flown out of the planet. The planet is ruled by humans, and the threat level is 1 star. There are 5 figures on the plane that is traveling at high speed, and they seem to be analyzing something at this time. Well, they are here. Although they are very weak, there is an interesting guy behind them. Forget it, just treat it as their training. Shichen looked up, then chuckled and stopped paying attention. Originally, he didn't know what was coming, but he knew everything when the other party stepped into this world. Although he couldn't see everything from the long river of time, he knew everything by tracking the breath they carried. "Uncle, you have been staring at it and laughing for no reason. What are you doing? And this doesn't seem to be your seed." At this time, a female voice came from the side. Shichen turned around and saw that it was Ai Huira. Originally, this was Conan's seat, but he went to fly the plane, so the seat was empty. Shichen didn't care about this before, so he sat here directly, but he didn't expect that when he looked at the people above, he was seen by Huira. "Oh, I forgot, she can see me now." Shichen suddenly remembered that when he was chatting with Conan before, he cancelled the feature that no one noticed him. "Little friend, you will know later." Shichen smiled and touched Huira's head. Huira seemed to be stiff in an instant, making her feel like she was being stared at by the Black Organization, which made her almost think that the other party was a member of the Black Organization. When Shichen's hand dropped from her head, the feeling disappeared, but it made her alert. "Don't be afraid, I'm not a good person." "Oh, no, I'm not a bad person." Shichen smiled, then closed his eyes, quietly waiting for something. Huiwen was relieved when he saw that Shichen did not move, but he still looked in Shichen's direction from time to time, as if he was staring at a criminal suspect. "Captain, we have already found out that the strongest person in this world is in this plane. His strength is okay, only at the level of the second order." At this time, a short-haired girl looked at the middle-aged man in the middle and said, the man was as strong as a bear, with a huge scar on his left face, which spread from the corner of his eye to his chin, and looked extremely ferocious. "Very good, then our war will start from here." The man called the captain smiled when he heard the words, and then showed a ferocious smile, like a devil in the sky full of lightning and thunder. This is a 5-man team, with a captain and a vice-captain in the team. Both of them are at the third order, and the captain's strength is at the peak of the third order. The remaining 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman, are all at the second order, but they are also at the peak of the second order. "Huang Ming, make a hole in the plane, we are coming in," the captain said, and ordered a man to do it. "Understood, Captain." The young man named Huang Ming was about to do it. At this time, a flash of lightning flashed and hit the man instantly. Pop! The man who was standing here just now disappeared instantly. Several people looked down and saw a figure with thick black smoke falling down, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. 4 people. "Captain. Captain, are we here at the wrong time? Brother Ming is dead," the short-haired woman said in horror. "Pucci, this little guy's passive is quite interesting. It's also their bad luck that they were hit down directly." At this time, Shichen in the plane laughed out loud, and Huiwen on the side couldn't help but look at him again. Is this uncle mentally ill? Huiwen was helpless and had to pretend to continue reading. The captain didn't talk nonsense this time, and he did it himself, trying to make a hole in the plane. Boom. With a loud noise, the plane immediately fell down, and everyone in the plane was thrown upside down. What happened? In the cockpit, Kid and Conan were almost blown out of the air, and couldn't help shouting. It seems that someone is attacking the plane from outside. It seems that we are in trouble. Conan thought of Shichen's words before, and hurriedly said to Kid. What did you say? Someone attacked the plane from outside. Are you sure it wasn't hit by a meteor? Kid was stunned when he heard the words, and then he couldn't believe it. You control the plane first, I'll take care of the outside. Conan said, and got down from the co-pilot's seat. Hey, are you sure you can do it? Kid was shocked when he heard the words, and hurriedly shouted to Conan. It's okay, I have other friends who can help. Conan waved his hand and said. Kid was stunned when he heard the words, and then thought of Shichen. He thought Conan was talking about Shichen, so he put down a little worry. Conan opened the door of the cab, and then went to the toilet at the back, and changed into Kudo Shinichi's appearance. In this situation, he couldn't use Conan's appearance to cause trouble. Although he didn't want to use his original appearance, he had to do so. At this time, everyone in the cabin also found 4 people coming in from above. These 4 people were wearing strange clothes and holding weapons in their hands. The strong man in the lead was about 2 meters tall. This was the captain. He carried a huge sword on his back, which was as tall as him. The other 3 were a thin man with 2 short swords on his waist, like an assassin in the game. This was their deputy captain. The other one was a man and a woman. The man looked quite handsome. He held a long spear in his hand and wore armor like an ancient soldier. The last woman was the short-haired woman before. She was wearing a loose wizard robe and a staff that looked like a plant branch in her hand. There was a fiery red gem on it that was as big as a child's fist. Okay, everyone, now is the killing time. Bring out the strongest among you. The captain said, and crushed the head of a man next to him, causing everyone to run around in fear, but they couldn't escape the plane at all. Xylan, take care of your mother, let's wait and see what happens. Seeing this, Maori Kokora, who was not far away, quickly stood in front of Xylan and Kisaki Eri and told Xylan. Xylan nodded when she heard this, and then looked towards the direction of the cab with some concern. Conan was still inside. Don't touch them, I'm here. At this time, a voice came, and a handsome man came out. It was Conan who turned back into Kudo Shinichi. At this time, Conan was talking to several people in the group. He had contacted several people after he said it before, and now he can come to help at any time. So that's it, you are the strongest in this world. I'm not interested in a mere second-level strength. The captain saw Conan and knew the other party's strength, and then said a little unlucky. Shinichi. At this time, Xylan also saw Kudo Shinichi, and her surprise was beyond words. Who are you and why are you here? Kudo Shinichi didn't look at Xylan, but walked towards them slowly, wanting to know their origins. Hehe, although it's okay to tell you, but you are all going to die, why should I tell you? As he said that, the captain took out the giant sword behind him and walked towards Kudo Shinichi. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 88, Fighting the Samsara Squad. This is an organization called the Reincarnationists. At the top of them is a being in the heavenly Deo realm who controls everything. He controls the life and death of all the Reincarnationists and lets them go to various worlds to plunder resources for their own practice. At the same time, he will also give his subordinates the ability to become stronger, but as long as they fail, they will die, just like raising a goo. At this time, Shishin's voice came, explaining the origin to everyone in the chat group. Let's go, you don't have the ability to kill me. At this time, Kudo Shinichi spoke, and then broke the window of the plane with a punch and jumped out directly. Captain. Seeing this, several Reincarnationists hurriedly looked at the captain. Chase, since he dares to do this, he will definitely not die easily. He is not only the strongest, but also the son of luck in this world. The captain gave the order without thinking. Then everyone jumped out directly. In addition to the two captains and vice captains who flew directly, the other two opened a pair of gliders with jet capabilities behind them. Shinichi, what happened? Xylan watched Kudo Shinichi jump off the plane, and then ran to the window to look down, but only saw a few black spots. Ah, what a trouble, I came here to rest, but this guy wants me to clean up his mess. Shichen stretched and muttered. He didn't care about Conan, anyway, he had already contacted people, it was not so easy to die, and let the god of death die, are you kidding? Okay, kid, see you again if we are lucky. Shichen smiled at Weiwen and walked to the cockpit. Ah, uncle, why are you here, what happened outside? Kid was still driving the plane with great effort, and he was contacting the tower to land. It's okay, I'll get everything back on track first. After Shichen finished speaking, the plane seemed to stop descending, and then everyone fainted, and the plane was directly repaired. When Kid woke up, he found that he had landed on the ground. Others had just woken up, but they seemed to have no memory of what happened and continued to do their own things. Everyone got off the plane, and Kid went back directly. What happened today was too incredible. He observed carefully, and everyone had lost the previous memory, as if only he had not lost his memory. No, there is another person. Suddenly Kid thought of Conan, and then changed back into his own outfit, opened the glider behind him, and flew away. He knew that all this was done by that strange uncle. He gave his magic, Conan's ninjutsu, he thought, and the passengers' collective amnesia was caused by him, which made him want to find out the truth. At the same time, Conan finally led the four people to a suburb, where there were few people, and it would not attract people's attention at night. At this time, Conan untied the glider he bought from the chat group. This was what he had planned before, and he bought it directly after jumping down, otherwise he would not have the ability to fly. Good boy, is this the place you chose for your own burial? The four of them landed right after him, looking at Conan and sneering. They were not afraid of an ambush, because they had already explored this world, and the strongest person was the man in front of them. Although there were various missiles or nuclear weapons in this world, no one dared to use them easily, and they were even less afraid of other guns and ammunition. Welcome to my territory, my friends, I have been waiting for you for a long time. Kudo Shinichi looked at the few people, and then changed back to Conan's appearance. After all, it was a bit exhausting to maintain that appearance. As soon as the voice fell, several light gates appeared from the space behind him, and then several people walked out. Wendy, Xiao, Tony, and Wulayoki walked out. No, we were ambushed, they are not from this world at all. The captain of the reincarnation was shocked when he saw this. He already knew that these people were not from this world at all. In fact, it was not his fault. Who would have thought that a person from a low-level world would actually know a group of people from other worlds, and they could come to help anytime and anywhere? Although their levels were the same, their mission was definitely a failure. Thinking of the consequences of mission failure, several people had unstoppable fear in their eyes. There was only one person they were loyal to, and that was the Lord of Reincarnation. This Lord of Reincarnation was a strong man in the heavenly Deo realm. He enslaved others to fight for resources for him, and every subordinate who failed would be punished. That was a hell more painful than death. And if someone died in the mission, their soul would be enslaved forever and could be purchased as a slave by others. Only when the soul was truly scattered could they completely escape from this hell, because they did not even have reincarnation. It must be said that they were all in great pain, but they had to do the mission. Thinking of this, several people directly entered the combat state and immediately entered a desperate battle. In every battle, they would take out 120,000 points of fighting strength, otherwise what awaited them would be worse than death. Injury is not terrible, as long as they can return to the reincarnation space, they can recover even if they still have a breath. Oh my god, are these people crazy? Why are they fighting so hard right away? Wendy also changed into a combat form and avoided the assassination of the deputy captain. It must be said that as a shooter, he was in great pain when he was approached by an assassin of the same level. Even so, he has recently gathered more and more faith power and has recovered to the peak strength of the 3rd level. To practice his power of faith, he must first have believers, and this Mondstadt has all of them. Although it is not known how many there are, all the people in the world who use the wind gods I believe in him, which is a huge group of people. After that, he needs to collect the power of faith given to him by the believers, and then condense it into a drop of faith, enter his own godhood, nourish his godhood, and let it slowly ascend. Song of the High Sky. Wendy held the bow with both hands and instantly shot the invisible reincarnation assassin. Hey, take my punch. On the other side, Xiao was fighting with the captain of the reincarnation. Both of them were at the peak of the 3rd level, and the battle almost plowed the nearby land. Humph, collapsed the mountains and cracked the earth. The captain of the reincarnation roared, then held the sword with both hands, jumped, and slashed at Xiao. Oh my, so scary. Xiao quickly dodged and then looked at the other party. I saw that the place where I stood just now directly cracked a huge gully, and at the same time, the surrounding land cracked like a spider web. I'll fight, I'll fight, I'll fight. Xiao condensed balls of light with her hands and threw them at the opponent quickly, just like a human turret. At the same time, Tony faced the only girl on the other side, a person holding a staff. Wu Lioqi found a man holding a spear, and the two of them fought hand to hand, ping-pong. Seeing that no one paid attention to him, Conan could only harass him from time to time and paddling. As the weakest 2nd level, even Kid, who had just learned magic, could fight him for 2 moves, which shows how weak he is. Although Conan's combat power is weak, his most powerful weapon has never been ninjutsu, but the ubiquitous aura of the god of death. Because of his passiveness before, the opponent had just arrived and had lost a teammate, and he didn't know it. At this time, not far from the battlefield, Shichen was looking here. He had no intention of helping, nor did he need to. The incident of the reincarnation was just a prelude. The serious matter he mentioned before was that there was an invisible black hand behind a series of events, which had spread to countless worlds. At this time, he suddenly thought of the fallen avenue he encountered at the beginning. It seemed that there was also its figure here, as if a strong darkness gradually covered him. It may be 10,000 years, or it may be tens of millions of years. All this will not be slow. Today, the Conan world and other worlds are just a tiny microcosm of them. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 89, Nuwa creates humans and finally becomes a saint. At dawn, everyone finished the battle. Except for Wu Lioqi and Wendy who were injured, everyone else was fine. However, Tony was very uncomfortable with his Iron Man suit, which was almost destroyed, but his new suit was almost finished, which would be a brand new system. After everything was over, everyone went back, and Conan called Xylan. Originally, he wanted to report to Xylan that he was safe, but he didn't expect that the other party didn't remember the previous things at all. Then he realized that the group owner should have erased everyone's memory, which was good. Everything returned to normal for the time being, and everyone continued their own business. And Shichen also returned to the chat group at this time. In the prehistoric world, time passed slowly, and now the conflict between the Demon Clan and the 10,000 Immortals League became more and more serious. Although the 10,000 Immortals League was not as powerful as the Demon Clan, it had the secret support of the Heavenly Deo, so it could barely fight against the Demon Clan. Now the great powers in the prehistoric world are almost all quasi-saints, and they are all working hard to kill the 3 corpses. Last time, outside of Shen Yuan's Wuzhuang Temple, Hong Yun was chased by a group of demons and finally died at the hands of Kun Pen, but no one got the primordial purple hair. Shen Yuan's learned that his friend was dead after he returned, but he could not avenge his friend, so he could only stay in the Taoist temple to practice hard. The 6 people who were originally designated as saints by Daezu Hongjun, now several Yuanhui have passed, but they have not yet become saints, which makes them a little anxious. Tongtian Sect Master will not be like this. He knows that if junior sister Nuwa does not become a saint, none of them can become a saint. Calculating the time, it is almost time now. Thinking of this, he silently glanced in the direction of his eldest brother and second brother, thinking about the friendship of the 3 brothers for countless Yuanhui, and finally they will go their separate ways. This is not unrelated to the way of heaven. After all, the 3 of them have the same roots, are brothers, and saints, and it is difficult not to be targeted. Tongtian doesn't have a good solution now. After all, they have a good relationship now. He can only think about moving out first in the future, so as not to let his brother's relationship be affected by this matter. Red flowers, white lotus roots, and green lotus leaves, the 3 pure ones were originally one family. Tongtian sighed softly, and then stopped thinking about it and could only concentrate on cultivation. He got the method of breaking through the Heavenly Deo realm from Shichen, but if he became a saint, it would be difficult to break through the Heavenly Deo realm. After all, there is already a Heavenly Deo in the prehistoric world, that is, Hongjun who has merged with the Deo with his body. If he wants to break through, he can only try to stay away from the chaos of the prehistoric world, so that the influence of the prehistoric world on him can be minimized. In the prehistoric world, it is still the same as before, fighting when it is time to fight, and practicing when it is time to practice, but at this time Nuwa came to the coast of the East China Sea. Are you here? But it will take thousands of years, no hurry. In Penglai Fairy Island, Shishin's body opened his eyes and looked at Nuwa who came to the East China Sea. At this time, Nuwa was originally practicing in her own dojo, but suddenly she felt that her chance seemed to be coming. This feeling was very clear, letting her know that this was a hint from the Heavenly Deo. But it was very vague, because she didn't know where this chance came from, but it pointed to here. Nuwa came to the coast of the East China Sea, and then found a place to sit down, and sat quietly for thousands of years. She had to look for her chance, which was the chance for her to become a saint. She had already felt it, because the Hongmeng purple chi in her body was trembling slightly. Thousands of years later, the Hongmeng purple chi in Nuwa's body had been trembling violently, and it burst out with endless light. This made Nuwa know that the time for her to become a saint had come, and then she opened her eyes. At this time, she was silently observing the time here, and suddenly came to the chat group. Nuwa is going to become a saint. Do you want to see it? I can let your spirit enter the prehistoric world, and it will not affect the body. Really? I want to go and see it. Everyone was shocked when they heard it, and then they all wanted to go and see it. After all, with the help of the big guys, this opportunity is very rare. Okay, prepare a safe place. Your consciousness will leave your body. If something goes wrong, it will be bad. Hearing Shichen's words, everyone prepared a place to lie down, and then they closed their eyes and opened them again, and they had already arrived in the prehistoric world. Let's go. Shichen waved his hand and took everyone directly to the coast of the East China Sea where Nuwa was, but she was not discovered by her. At this time, Nuwa woke up from her meditation. She looked into the sea and got a hint from it. Now she is not in the form of her original body, but a congenital body that is very close to that of humans. This body can be beneficial to cultivation, so all cultivators in the prehistoric world will transform into this form. She suddenly thought of the law of creation she cultivated, whether she could create a new race, just keeping the appearance of this congenital body. Thinking of this, she suddenly had some insights and took out the 9 heaven siren that she had obtained at the beginning, which was given to her by Shichen at the beginning. Thinking of this, she finally understood what Shichen meant at the beginning. It seems that the other party knew that he would create humans a long time ago, and she couldn't help but sigh at the other party's strength. She then took seawater from the East China Sea and mixed it with the 9 heaven soil, then molded it into the shape of a person, and then her own laws of creation surged, and the clay figure came to life in an instant. Seeing this, she had completely understood her path, and then she began to mold people again. After shaping a man and a woman, the 2 little people knelt down to Nuwa and said, "Thank you, Goddess Nuwa, for giving us life." Nuwa waved her hand and continued to shape people. Soon, more than a dozen chattering little people appeared on the coast of the East China Sea. At this time, she suddenly had an idea. Thinking that this was too tiring, she took out the gourd vine and smeared some mud on it. With a wave of her hand, countless muds fell on the ground and turned into countless little people. Finally, she created thousands of people, and then said to the people below, "Your race will be called the human race. God is above. Now I, Nuwa, feel that there are no acquired creatures in the world, so I specially created a race, named the human race, for acquired creatures. In today's prehistoric world, all creatures are born innately, even those born by reproduction are innate creatures. And the human race is the first race of acquired creatures, because he was created by Nuwa." As Nuwa finished speaking, the heavenly Deo bestowed countless merits, attracting all the great powers of the prehistoric world to look in the direction of Nuwa. "This is, junior sister Nuwa, is she going to become a saint?" Laozi looked in the direction of Nuwa, and his calm heart could not help but stir up waves. He had always thought that among the 6 people, he would be the first to become a saint. After all, he had already killed 3 corpses, while Nuwa was only at the level of killing 2 corpses, but he did not expect that Nuwa would be the first to become a saint. As countless merits descended, part of them entered Nuwa's body, and the other part gathered in the fate of the human race to escort the human race. Then, the gourd vine that Nuwa created the human race directly turned into a treasure of acquired merits, the whip of creation. Then, the primordial purple air in Nuwa's body completely merged with her, and endless pressure bloomed from her body. The purple air came from the east for 30,000 miles, and the auspicious images appeared all over the sky, as if celebrating the birth of a saint. Everyone in the prehistoric world was so shocked by the pressure that they had to kneel down, except for a few saints who had the purple chi of Hongmeng in their bodies, so they could resist the pressure of the saints. Nuwa created humans and became a saint, so spectacular. People around Shichen were not affected. After all, with such a great god, how could they be affected? Then all the human race respected Nuwa as the holy mother of the human race. After all, it was Nuwa who gave them life. "You can develop peacefully on the coast of the East China Sea in the future," Nuwa explained to the human race, and then flew to the 33 outer heavens. After she became a saint, she had received an order from Hongjun to go to the 33 outer heavens to establish the W8 palace, and she was not allowed to interfere in the affairs of the demon race from then on. Originally, she was very happy that she became a saint and could help her brother in the future, but now she didn't expect that she could no longer help the demon race, which hit her hard. And the demon race was still celebrating because they finally had a saint, but they didn't know that Nuwa couldn't help them for no reason. On the contrary, there was a gloomy atmosphere in the 10,000 Immortals Alliance, and the King of the East's brows were almost furrowed.